everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. Today we will be drawing this Easter egg floral design with Happy Easter in the middle. So we'll draw a bunch of different flowers and leaves and kind of sprigs and stuff to fill out our picture. So this is the exact drawing that I will go through step by step. Yours might turn out a little bit different, but I promise it will be just as beautiful. Before we get started, the only thing that you will need to do is download the color palette and the font that we are using in today's video. They are linked in the description below. They're totally free to download. For the color palette, just double tap the file that downloads and it'll automatically pop into Procreate so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the drawing today. For the font, there are a couple different ways to get it in Procreate, but the easiest way that I've found is to just find the font file in your files, touch and hold down on it until you get the option to click share, and then click share and then click Procreate, and it'll open up Procreate and say that it's importing, and you will find it in your font options later. I will also post the canvas dimensions, color profile, and layers needed on the screen and in the description below so that you can use those to set up your canvas. So take a minute to get everything ready and then come back and we'll get started. Okay, first things first, this is the color palette that we will be working with today. So our background is going to stay white. If you need to set yours to a white color, that is the first color on the first row of the color palette. So go ahead and do so by going to your layer menu, clicking on this background color layer, and selecting that first color on the first row to set it to white. And then straight away, we are just going to create an egg shape to be kind of the guide for the outline that we're going to draw first. So to make the egg shape, let's just go ahead and select this first color on the second row of the color palette, this kind of peachy color. Make sure that we're on layer 1 here. I am going to use the monoline brush under the calligraphy tab for this. I have it set to 100%. And I am just first going to draw a circle, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle, a good medium-sized circle, leaving, a good amount of room all the way around. Then go ahead and fill it in. And then we're going to click our arrow tool. You can have it set to uniform and then make sure that snapping is turned on in the bottom left. And we're just first going to snap it to the center of the screen from left to right. So you see the vertical yellow line, and then we're going to drag it down that vertical line a little bit so that we're closer to the bottom and we have more room at the top to extend our circle and make our egg shape. We want a good amount of room at the top, so I'm going to just lower my size a little bit on uniform, recenter it on that yellow line, again, closer to the bottom like so. Okay, that looks good. Then we are just going to switch this selection to warp. And we are just going to grab this top middle area and drag it straight up to make a nice egg shape. I also might just drag my top right corner out a teeny bit, just kind of straight out up and to the right. Same thing on this left corner dot, up and to the left a little bit, just to create kind of more of a rounded shape. But otherwise, that is my egg. I'm going to switch it back to uniform, and then now I'm going to center it on the screen from top to bottom and from left to right, so we'll see both yellow lines pop up. But you can also resize it on uniform if you want to change the size of the shape in general. Okay, so now we have our egg shape so that we can draw our outline. That's all that we really needed that for. So we'll go to our layer menu, we'll add a new layer above this one, and we will draw our outline. It's going to be made up of stems and leaves, going all the way around, kind of breaking off in certain sections. And we're going to create that with our second color on the top row of our color palette, our dark green color. Again, make sure we're on our new layer, and the brush that we're going to use is actually going to be the studio pen under the inking category. That's what we're going to use for a majority of our items today. I'm going to set the size to 30%. And we're actually going to make a small change to the brush, so I am going to make a duplicate of it. So slide to the left and hit duplicate so that we can leave our original studio pen alone. So now I have this studio pen 2 because I have another one, so yours might say 1. with this little symbol next to it that shows that it's a duplicate. So I'm going to click on that to open it up, and under the stabilization section, I am going to turn streamline up a bit to maybe 70%. And then I'm also going to increase this stabilization amount to like maybe 30%. And then when you draw, you can just kind of see it just gives us really smooth lines. But now we're just going to go ahead and get started on our outline. So I'm just going to start in the top left corner here. My size is set to 30%. And I am just going to start drawing, again, sections of this green color. Just kind of all the way around. Then I'll just leave a little gap and I will draw another section. Following my shape as closely as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect. There can be like a little white gap there. That's fine. We just want our line to be pretty smooth. And I am going to rotate as I go because that is just how I draw easiest. So again, I just kind of draw pretty fast, and then if I don't like the way it turned out, I'll just undo it and do it again. And then now we're up towards the top, so I'm going to draw one last one here. And I really just want to make sure to cover a good amount of the top of my egg so that we get that top shape there. Okay, so now we're back to the beginning, and then we can go ahead and turn off our original egg shape so that we can see how it looks, but it looks great. It, mirrors the egg shape great. So I'm just going to delete that layer entirely from my layer menu, and now we just have our green outline. So the next thing that we're going to do is just add some leaves and stems to this outline here. So same layer, same color, same brush. Okay, and I did end up with 5 different outline sections. It's okay if you have more or less. Okay, so we're going to add either a flower stem or some sprig stems to each one of these, plus some leaves. So we'll just kind of go around in variations. So for the sprigs, we're going to add, for example, we'll add a sprig to the end of this one and just choose a direction. I'm going to go clockwise. So all of my flowers are going to point that direction. All of my leaves are going to point that direction all the way around. So I'm just going to start on this like bottom left one here. And we're going to add a sprig to the end of this. So by that I just mean we'll have a tiny little sprig with 3 flowers total. So there will be a flower added to this top part here and then one on each side. So I am just going to make a little, starting from this middle stem, a little sprig out, and then another sprig on the inside, and we'll add a flower to each one of those, and that will be a sprig. Okay, we'll go ahead and add some leaves while we're here as well. So I'm going to add a leaf to the outside, just making this, 2 curved line, kind of like almond shaped leaf that attaches to the stem. A good like medium size, I would say. And then I'll make another one on the inside down here. Like so. Okay, then this next one will have a flower come off of it. So instead of making the 2 little, sprig lines at the top, now we're just going to have a little line come out, a little piece of a stem, always working in clockwise motion. So the flower is going to face like this way. And so then I am going to add my little stem coming off. And then at the top, I'm just going to make a little base for my flowers. So that's just going to be like a little half circle kind of shape, facing that direction, like so. So that's where our flower will be. This line's a little smaller. I'll just add 1 leaf on the outside here. Kind of try to make sure it looks similar to my other leaves. It's a little smaller, so I'll just increase the size a little bit. Okay. Let's see, this next one will also do a flower. So I'm not going to turn my canvas this time, but again, we're working in a clockwise direction. So our stem is now going to come off in this direction. If you need to ever lower the size or anything, go ahead and do so. Depending on how hard or lightly you push down, you might need a larger or smaller size to kind of get the desired lines. But then now my little half circle will be facing this way. So it'll face that direction. Again, another smaller one, so I'm just going to add one leaf on the outside. I don't want to add one on the inside here because our flower will be here from this stem. Okay, that looks good. And then maybe on this next one, I'll do another sprig type flower at the end. So we'll have, you know, one little flower there, and then we'll do a sprig on this side, a sprig on that side, and we'll add flowers to the ends of those. And then again, maybe we'll do 2 leaves on this one. Okay, and then on the final one, we will again add just a flower stem coming off towards the end of our line, like so, with our little half circle holder there. And then again, maybe we'll just do 1 leaf on the outside to leave more room on the inside for other things. So just go around, smooth anything out if you need to, adjust any sizes of anything, but that is a great start. So next we're going to add our Happy Easter text to the center so that that is out of the way, and then we can draw everything else around it. So to do so, we are going to just stay on the same layer. We're going to click the gear icon in the top left, click Add Text, and it automatically adds it onto its own layer. So the text is already highlighted, and mine did pop up green, and I do want it to be green. So if yours did not pop up green, just make sure it's selected and select your second color on the top row to fill it in with that dark green color. But now I'm just going to open up the keyboard, and I am typing mine in all lowercase letters. That's just the way I liked it to look, but you can definitely capitalize the words. And then my Easter automatically capitalized, so I'm just going to go back and lowercase it. Then I'm going to triple tap to select all the text. I'm going to click this button in the top left to kind of open up my font selector here. And we are going to select the font that you should have downloaded, this Hello Honey font. We can increase or decrease the size a little bit, but essentially it should be set. We don't want to mess with any of the tracking or anything because it is a script font, so we don't want to mess up the spacing in between the letters because they are connected. So I am just going to increase my size a little bit. I have it on 80 points, and then I'm going to click my arrow tool, and I'm just going to drag it down to the middle here where it's going to be. I might increase the size a little bit more just on uniform so I don't have to go back into my font settings. And I'm just going to place it kind of in this lower middle area here. I want to make sure it's not interfering with any flowers. So like there will be a little flower here that will be pretty small. A flower here will be pretty small. This flower there's plenty of space around it, so that is fine. So maybe just somewhere right about here, center it on this yellow line. And again, increase or decrease the size however much you would like, and then we will move on. So now I'm going to go back to my layer 2 that has our greenery on it, and I am going to use my same color, same brush. I am going to lower the size a little bit to maybe 15%, and I'm going to connect these 2 words, since there's this big space in the middle, with a little leafy piece to kind of match our picture. So I'm going to zoom in here where the Y ends, and I'm just going to draw a little line, a little curvy line like this that connects them. So I pushed really, really lightly. So again, adjust your brush size more if you need to. I have a little bit of a wiggliness here where they connect, so I'm just going to kind of go over that and either smooth it out, or you can just undo it till they connect really nice, but I'll just smooth mine out there a little bit. And then I'm just going to add a small leaf to the top facing, you know, this way essentially. And then I'll add another small leaf on this side on the bottom, like so. And that is just a cute way to connect our words, and you should be able to do it even if you capitalized Easter. You should be able to connect them with a little line with some leaves on it to just kind of fill in that space. So that looks nice, kind of matches our picture and everything. Okay, so now we're going to fill in our stems and sprigs for our outline, and then we'll continue on to the middle. So I will post a picture here with all the different flowers and sprigs that we are working with today so that you know what kind of options you have to fill these in, and then I'll go through all of them. So we do have 3 main flowers. We do have 2 sprigs, but I only like the little yellow flowers on this dark green stem, so I'll do that for both of my sprigs that I have. And then we also have another leaf pattern and flower that we'll use inside only, and some little dots to kind of fill everything in. So I'll put all that on the screen here so that you kind of see what our options are. So we are going to draw, okay, so the main flowers that go in our little half moon shapes will go underneath this layer. So let's do those first. The little sprig flowers will go on a layer on top, but we will start with our main bigger flowers that connect to our stems. So let's go ahead and add a new layer, drag it below our layer 2, so we're right above our background color layer. And we are first going to draw the big orange flower. So that's going to be with this 4th color on the top row. I am going to put that one maybe here in this top right one. So from the stem, I am just going to draw behind it, and I'm just going to draw 3. Kind of like teardrop shapes that I'll connect at the base. I did that all in just one brush stroke. I made the middle one a little bit longer. And then I am just going to fill that in either with my brush or with the color dropper. Either one is fine, as long as it's connected at the base. So that's my 3-petal flower. But next we'll move on to the tulip kind of flower. That is going to be our first color on the 2nd row of the color palette. I will add that one in the top left little base here. So I'm first going to do a curved line that goes through my base. I hold it down. You can click edit if you need to adjust it at all, but just make sure it's kind of nestled nicely in the base here. And then at the top, you start on one edge, I go down, I go up, down, and then up to connect to the other side. You can also do that same thing, and you can hold it down if you want to, and it turns into it turns into a bunch of lines. So then if you click edit at the top, you can adjust where all the points go and stuff. So you can definitely do that, and then go ahead and fill it in. So that's kind of like our tulip shape. So I made them similar sizes to each other. And then the last one is a bud. And so we will make that on our bottom one here that we have. And that is going to be using these next 3 colors on the 2nd row. So these dark, medium, and light pink colors. So I will first start with my dark color, the 2nd one on the 2nd row. Start in the base and make a teardrop shape. So that's going to be the center of our bud. I'm going to connect it at the bottom and fill it in. Okay, next I'm going to stay on the same layer, but we're just going to switch to our medium color, the 3rd one on the 2nd row. I'm going to start on the left side here, a little bit outside of the top of my bud, make a curved line going down, covering down to this whole left side of my original shape there, and then kind of cover up this right side as well with another curved line. Go ahead and just fill that in with your brush. We don't want to use the color dropper on this one, it'll be more challenging. So just like that. And then we'll just do the same thing with our lightest pink color, the 4th one on the 2nd row on the other side. So I'll start on the other side outside of my bud shape. I'll draw a line going across, covering up pretty much everything so far, connecting to the right side of my base. Draw another line down on that side, and then fill that in with our brush. So that is our bud flower. So those are our 3 flowers that we're working with. So we'll add more of those in a moment. But first we will add our sprigs. So the only sprig that we're going to draw right now is our little yellow flowers. We'll add our red bud flowers later because they have a different colored stem that goes with them. So we are going to draw our sprig flowers on a new layer on top of our green layer. So right underneath our Happy Easter text, grab our yellow color that we use for these, which is the 5th one on the top row, same brush and everything, and I am just going to zoom in on the top of this sprig on the left, and we are just going to make a little 3-petal flower basically, kind of like our orange one, but it's like a little bit more spread out. The petals, they're not so like tucked in together like this one was, they're a little bit more splayed out. So I just start at the top, make my 3 petals, fill them in if you need to. And then same thing for this one. Again, always facing in the direction that our like stems are facing. Okay, and then that is our outline. So that is it with all of our flowers. So if you have more sprigs or more stems to fill in, just go ahead and pick whichever flower you would like. Like if you have another stem, to fill in, go ahead and do so. Just pick any flower, probably one that's like further away. So if you had like another stem down here, I would maybe do like this opposite one, so the tulip, or if you had another stem here, I would probably do, the opposite one. So kind of one that's far away, so maybe not like 2 buds right in a row or anything. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to add is a new set of leaves. We'll just add those around a few of those. So we'll go ahead and just add those on a new layer above everything. We'll grab our 3rd color on the top row of the color palette. That is the color that we will use for these. And I am just going to make some little leaf sections. Again, those will be on our screen so you can see what they look like, but essentially I'm just going to make like a curved line like so. So a nice long curved line, maybe a little bit shorter than that, like that. And then I'm going to say that it's kind of facing downward. So everything in the middle can face kind of however it wants now. So the only thing that we really wanted following like our clockwise pattern was the outer edge. So now everything inside can be facing this way, that way, up, down, kind of whatever. So this one I'm going to say is like facing downward. So I am going to draw the top leaf here. So it's going to be a similar leaf pattern to like our edge leaves, just in this different color. And just the whole thing is leaves all the way down. So then we'll just do some smaller little leaves, filling them in as we go, like so. If you want to do any resizing or moving around, go ahead and just grab your arrow tool to select it. Make sure it's set to uniform, and you can just like downsize it, rotate it, kind of whatever. Just going to maybe rotate mine a little bit and place it in here to kind of fill in that space. So yeah, I'm just kind of placing it there so that that space is filled in and there's nothing else really that we need to do there. So that's kind of the whole name of this game, is we just want to make sure that all the space is filled in with a flower or a sprig or some dots at the end. But so I'll just place my little stem of leaves there nicely. Grab my pen tool again, and I will just kind of do a similar thing maybe down here by this other flower. So I'll just make another line for my base. Now that these are on the same layer, if you need to change just this one, you can grab your selection tool on freehand, make sure color fill is turned off. You can select around it, click your arrow tool, and then move it, rotate it, change the size, whatever. And then I think I will do just one more kind of out in the open over here, like going just maybe like this. Okay, I'll just leave that one there without resizing it at all. So that one's a little bit smaller. I might resize it actually just a little bit. Just kind of place it there where there's like a nice little gap where maybe we could fit a little flower around it. Something like that. So we'll just do the 3 sets of leaves, but do as many or as few as you would like of that. And again, I just kind of place them randomly around so that there's a good distance between them. There's not like 2 right next to each other, so that'll just kind of help us fill out our picture better. So now we're going to add more of our main flowers, and we're going to again kind of place them around randomly. So we are just going to go back to our main flower layer. So this layer 3 at the very bottom right above our background color. Go ahead and just be on that layer. And I'm first just going to grab my orangish color, the 4th one on the top row that we used for this flower here, and I'm going to add just a few more of those. And by a few, I mean probably 1 or 2 more of each at the very most. So we'll first just do this orange one. I'll make another one down here, maybe facing this way. So I'll make my 3 long petals, connect them at the bottom, fill that in. And later on we will add a stem, whether it be long or small with a leaf or not. We'll just kind of see depending on where we're at. But so yeah, I'm going to place that there. So my stem, just so that we just kind of know, will go behind it. So I am going to grab my selection tool and just move it up just a little bit so that we have a little bit more room for a stem there. And then that's all I'm going to do for my orange ones now. I will move on to my tulip one. So that is the first color on the 2nd row. I'll add 1 more of those probably over here, and then I'll add another bud maybe up here, and then we'll start filling in with other things. So that's really all that I have room for. If you have room to add like 3 of each color or 2 of some, 3 of some, whatever works, that's fine. I'm just kind of running out of room already, so I'm just going to do my tulip one. So I'm going to do mine facing kind of the opposite direction of this one right in here. So I will have it face like this way. So I'll draw my curve shape, hold it down, click this ellipse button at the top to edit it. Again, just leave like some room for like a stem perhaps, like behind it. Then we'll add our little lines, hold them down as well, edit, and fill that in. Okay, that looks good, just a little small, so I'm going to select around it, increase the size a good amount. Okay, and so then now for my bud, I'm going to again stay on the same layer, grab my first pink color in our set, so the 2nd one on the 2nd row, and I'm again just going to go kind of like opposite, so maybe up here, and again opposite, so maybe it's going to be facing downwards. So first we'll just draw like a little teardrop shape with this darker color, fill that in. Grab our next color, the 3rd one on the 2nd row. I'll start here, make a curved line down to the base. Make a curved line back up to create that petal there. Grab our next color, the 4th one on the 2nd row, and then same thing, we'll start here, make a curved line, another one, fill that in. And then we can either cover this whole little base here with our half moon shape, or you can grab your eraser tool, which I also always have set to the monoline brush, and you can just kind of erase these extra little bits so that we just have a more pointy shape at the bottom. So that is where our half moon will go. So again, grab your selection tool, select around it. If you want to resize it at all, I might make it a little bit bigger. I might also switch it to freeform and make it like a little bit longer. But that looks good. So now we will go back through and make our stems, and then we'll add some more other things. So we'll go back to our dark green layer, our layer 2, right above our flowers, and we'll just draw these on that as well. So we'll switch back to our 2nd color on the top row, same brush, same size and everything, and we will just go through and start making like first our little bases, so our little like half moon shaped base. Then we'll make a stem going off of it, just kind of however you want, like just a nice, you can do a straight stem, you can do like a curved stem, just kind of depending on your space. So I'll do like a little curved stem on this one. And then maybe I'll just add just one leaf to this left side. So I'm going to leave more room on the right side here so that we still have some room to maybe add like a sprig or or our little tiny flower or some dots or something. So then let's go ahead and do this guy. So we'll do just a pretty short stem. We'll add one leaf on this side. So you can add 2 leaves, 1 leaves, no leaves, whatever works. And then we'll move on to this guy. A longer stem, and we will add 2 leaves to this one. So then the main next thing that we need to do is add some more sprigs. So we'll add maybe one more of our yellow one inside, and then we'll add at least 2 or 3 of our light green stem with like our red buds on them, since we don't have any of those yet. So let's just go ahead and add maybe our yellow one. We'll add in this top middle area. So we'll add the 1 line with 2 lines coming off of it, and that will be our little yellow sprig. So then we'll switch over and we'll add some more sprig stems for our buds, which are in this lighter green color. So we'll switch to that, the 3rd one on the top row, same brush, same layer even, and we'll just add some of those in. So I'll have my buds maybe be like right here, so I'll draw a sprig stem there with 2 sprigs coming off. And then maybe we'll add another one over here. And then, let's see, I would like to do maybe one more. So maybe we'll add one like right here. So just to get them kind of like farther away from each other, so we have one kind of just in a little circle here. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and add the tops of these sprigs, so the yellow flowers and then the red buds. So we'll do that on our same layer, it should be layer 4. So right above our greenery layer, it has our yellow flowers on them. We'll grab the 5th color on the top row for our sprig flowers for our 1 new sprig that we have of this. So we'll add our yellow flowers to it, like so. And then we will do our red buds on our other stems. And that is going to be with this really dark pink color, the first one on the last row. And I am just going to add literally just an oval to the top of each of these to kind of create some little buds. Okay, now we have just a few more spaces that like probably aren't big enough for any flowers, any of our main flowers or any of our sprigs, and that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted some little spaces left, and that is where we are going to add our little tiny purplish pinkish flower. So we will just go ahead and add a new layer, grab our first purple color, the 2nd one on the last row, and we are just going to create like a very traditional like 5-petal flower. And then the easiest way that I found to make these flowers is to still be on our studio pen. We'll increase the size to 100%. And I will just start somewhere and I will just push and then kind of work in a circular motion. And that's like 1 petal. I'll go over a little bit. I'll push. I'll go over again. Just kind of working in a circle so that we get our 5 petals. Then fill that in. And then we can kind of go back through and make them a little bit bigger if we need to. Like so. So that's like 1 flower. I'm going to grab my arrow tool and just move it so it's a little bit more centralized in this area. And then we'll fill in with some more. So we'll do at least like hopefully 3 of these. So another thing, if you need to make room for them, is you can go ahead and just start moving stuff around. So even though some of your stuff is on different layers, for example, we have our green leaves all on 1 layer. So if you need to move those, go ahead and go to that layer, use your selection tool to select around one and move it. However, if you want to move a sprig with its top or a flower with its stem, so our stems are all on this layer, our flowers are all on this layer. So select one, slide right on the other to select that one also. You can even slide right on the third one so that we have all of our sprig tops, our flowers, and all of our stems all selected. Then, since nothing should be overlapping, you click the selection tool. You can select all the way around just the one stem and flower. Click the arrow tool and you can move it. So you can rotate it, you can move it. You know, maybe you want to like place this one here and lower the size a little bit so it's like right in there, and then you made some room. So, you know, you can definitely do something like that to kind of work through and make some more space in different areas. Okay, but now we'll just go back to our purple flower layer and continue on. Okay, so that was our first petal. Now we'll make our next one. Okay, that looks good. So then we'll add one down here. Okay, and I would say that that's probably all the room that I have. I'll fill in the rest of these like areas with dots. I'm only going to do that just because like I could probably fit another one here. I could even fit another one here, but I feel like it feels kind of like off-centered then. Like if I had space up here, I would probably add one up here. Maybe if I had space like way over here, I would add one there, but I don't. So I'm just going to leave it with the 3 right there. Okay, and then on the same layer, we're going to add the centers of them, and that's going to be in this light purple color. So that's going to be the third one on the last row. So we'll just grab that color, same brush, same size. We'll just start in the middle, kind of push down, make a little center. You can make it as big or as small as you would like. So I'm just going to kind of work out a little bit. Do the same thing here, push hard, and then work out a little bit. Push hard, work out a little bit. Okay. And then those are those flowers. So that adds a nice little extra layer. And then lastly, we're going to add some blue dots all the way around to just kind of fill in some more space, just add a little bit more to it. And that is going to be this 4th color on the last row of our color palette. I'm just going to stay on the same layer. Just for the heck of it, you can add a new layer if you would like to. And again, I'm going to use the same brush at 100%. And I am just going to go around and kind of touch the screen to make some little dots. And so like I'll make 3 there to fill in that space. So just kind of fill in any other space that you have. You can do 3 in kind of like a triangular shape like this to fill in a big space. You can do just like 1 in some other spaces or 2. And you don't have to fill in every little crevice, but just kind of go around and just kind of try to make, I would say, just fill it out. So, you know, if you find that you have a ton in one area and none in the other, at least just add like 1 or 2 to just have something there. But yeah, you don't have to go through and fill in every little tiny gap that you have. But you know, like, so I have a ton just kind of all the way around, not a lot down here. So maybe I'll just add like 1 there. I don't have much over here, so maybe I'll add like 1 there. You know, maybe I'll add a second one right here. Maybe I'll add 1 more right here. And that looks pretty good. So that just kind of fills the rest of it out, adds another color to our beautiful color palette. And that completes our drawing today. So I hope you had fun. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more tutorials from me in the future. If you would like to share your drawing on Instagram, I would love to see it, so go ahead and post it and then tag me so that I can check it out. While you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so that you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching! If you enjoyed this video, check out the next screen and I will post another video that you should like as well.